Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Doctor Who. This is the brand new series, depending on where you are in the world, of the iconic nearly 60-year-old series from the BBC, from way out in the UK, or whatever part of the galaxy you may be from. This is a brand new set of episodes. I will warn you, though, that the first episode, they released 3, technically 2. The first one is actually the same as the final one that they aired back in December during David Tennant's return to the character. Sort of the bridge between the 12th, and I guess it makes him the 14th, again, in addition to the 11th? And then also now this guy, Nakuti Gatwa. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. He is the 15th, I guess. The 15th Doctor, Time Lord. So, if you have no idea what Doctor Who is all about, despite it being around for nearly 60 years, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of information out there and a lot of episodes to go through, although there are many from the early days that had been lost to time, ironically, because they didn't save the material in which a lot of those episodes were filmed back in the 60s. And then they just sort of they taped over them. Why would they need them? Why would they need to keep them? I don't know. There are some very, very early episodes, yes, that are kept. Some that have been recreated in animation. Some that are like audio recreations based on scripts that are still available. But the original filming of those things no longer exist. But we're here to talk about the latest season, starring our brand new Doctor here and his companion, Ruby Sunday. I was going to say Ruby Tuesdays, but that's a restaurant chain. Yes. Oh my! I'm looking at the IMDb as it flips by, and there's some interesting pictures of episodes to come, or maybe some that has already happened. But either way, this is a kind of a big moment. I watched 2 episodes. It took me a little bit longer. These episodes are. I've been fighting a headache all day, and I just had to burn through these but still enjoy them. I've been watching Doctor Who since probably the 80s. My first Doctor was the 4th Doctor, Tom. Why can't I say his name? Tom Baker. Tom Baker. Because he was a Doctor in the 70s, but I came late to it, and being in America, we would only get reruns where I lived on PBS. It showed a lot of British television on Sunday nights. Between that and Monty Python, I watched Star Trek on Saturday nights, 3 episodes, no commercials, nonstop. And then Sunday nights, it was Monty Python and Doctor Who, sometimes also in the afternoons. So I got my culture through PBS in those early days. I should have donated more and gotten that tote bag, because man, I'm so glad I did. And it was a little bit late into the party when there was a resurgence in 2005 with the new Doctor Who series. I'm already forgotten his name, but yeah, you know who I'm talking about. The Doctor Who fans know who I'm talking about. In 2005, Doctor Who came back in a big way and revisited its roots, but with a brand new Doctor, a brand new style, and a lot more modern effects. Yeah, it was still BBC television budget effects, but that's part of the charm. And that's what you get a lot of the time with Doctor Who. You have to not expect it to be on the same technical level. And this is not an insult at all to the Doctor Who crew that creates these effects. In fact, with working with Disney Plus now, with Disney, they got an infusion of money, I believe, that to really upgrade the effects. It's not just plastic robots and rubber suits, rubber-suited monsters that feel fresh out of the 60s. It is more digital effects, more a lot of stuff that just looks a whole lot better. And again, not that it was bad before, but it was not great. But that is, again, like I said, part of the charm of what makes Doctor Who so fun. It's a children's series. It always was a children's series. Some of the older stuff a friend of mine reminded me is just literally two people. Even though it was a children's series, it was two just old people on you would watch on a black and white screen having a conversation back and forth for 3 episodes. Yeah. That's kind of what some of the old Doctor Who stuff was. A bunch of old guys talking to each other because the budget in BBC land was not exactly like, oh, can we make sure we get a bunch of Daleks or a bunch of Cybermen? And seriously, go back and look at the old Cybermen. They're terrifying for a whole different reason than they should be. Just saying. Anyway, over the years, Doctor Who's had varying levels of success, popularity, and quality. Russell T Davies has returned to the series with this this season, and just sort of reinvigorated it in his own unique way. And these 2 episodes, I know I should be talking about the 2 episodes. I'm 6 minutes in, and I'm not even talked about the episodes. But again, saying what I said earlier, you got to embrace sort of the silliness. You got to embrace the absurdity that is Doctor Who. And his name is not Doctor Who. I know some people will quibble about that. His name is the Doctor. What's his name? Well, we don't necessarily know. We might know, but we don't know that we know. It's hard to explain. But yes, we get to see Chris Chibnall? No, Ben Chisel. Okay. Russell T Davies. I was just looking at some credits. I thought Chibnall was involved still. I can't tell or not. But I'm sure I said that name wrong as well. These 2 episodes, 2 brand new episodes, not counting the first episode, which again aired in December, is Space Babies and not the Death Note, but the Devil's Cord. Space Babies and the Devil's Cord. So yeah, they are 2 very different episodes. And that is one of the great things about Doctor Who, is that one episode could be absolutely just wackadoo silly, and the next one is so deathly serious and terrifying, and just heartbreaking or gorgeous, just absolutely stunning to look at. And yeah, you run the whole gamut of emotions with these kind of shows. I know that sounds strange. You don't necessarily expect that with most other science fiction, fantasy series, especially ones that have been running for 60 years, with a rotating cast and an actor that changes every few years. But it works. It really does work. And your appreciation of this new Doctor and the scenarios and the way everything fits together will differ depending, more than likely, on your general understanding of, 1, Doctor Who, and 2, the entire ethos of the series. It's if you're the type of person who is easily triggered by a number of culture war kind of BS that's out there right now, whether it's pronouns or woke or the idea that a person has can choose their own gender, you're gonna have or just LGBTQ in the first place, showing kindness for anybody at a human level, at a basic human level, showing people kindness and love and appreciation and showing that they are worth something, even if they're different from you. If you have a problem with any of that, you're not going to like Doctor Who. You're going to probably be the one on the message boards saying, just not my Doctor Who. Like, it was never your Doctor Who then. Maybe in the 60s. I don't know when you just identified with really old white guys in scarves. I really don't know. This is a series that is not afraid to show kindness, show generosity, show basic human decency to all people. And does it feel like it's right there in your face? Yes. Is that okay? Absolutely. They can make the show they want. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. That is the great thing about human choice. If you're not entertained by this, I get it. Maybe it's not your thing. It's not your thing. It's not for everybody. Maybe it should be for everybody, but maybe it just doesn't click with you. I know some people who don't. The Doctor Who, the later stuff, has not clicked with them at all. It's not they're bad people or anything. It hasn't really resonated with them. Speaking of which, resonation. That's the third episode in this of the two that I watched. The first one is Space Babies, and that it features literally what's in the title. I'm not kidding. And while I'm not gonna spoil too much at all from either of these episodes, I am going to hit some high points here, or just stuff that there are space babies in this, and it has one of the things I hate more than anything when it comes to entertainment, movies, television, whatever. I don't like it when dogs are made to talk, like animals and dogs especially, like the Air Bud or the Buddies movies, when they're made to like digitally flap their lips. Yeah, I don't like those. I don't like those at all. When they do it to babies, it's usually much worse. And they do that in this film. In the Space Babies episode, there are babies that are talking and their lips are moving digitally. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be once I saw it happening. I got used to it. But at first I was like, no. And this is a personal thing. It's not like, oh my gosh, I hate babies. No, I just hate when they make babies talk with the moving digital lips. No. Boss Baby it's a digital movie, the animated film that is completely different than live action digitally moving lips on babies. So yeah, if you're upset by that kind of thing, it might be off-putting at first, but do you get a really wacky, fun, just absolutely weird? Seriously, embrace the weird. If you cannot embrace the weird and have a good time, you're never going to understand or enjoy Doctor Who. Seriously, just period. It's not going to be a thing. Again, you don't know what to expect from episode to episode. It can be terrifying, some episodes. It can be heartbreaking, but sometimes, a lot of the times, it's just absolute absurd silliness. And that's awesome. And sometimes you need that. And it can be for children and it can be for adults. The second episode, or the third technically, out of the three that are available right now, featuring this doctor, is the Devil's Cord. The Devil's Cord is a reference to an actual thing. This is when the Doctor and Ruby meet the Beatles. Yes. While there is no actual appearance by John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, or George Harrison, the characters of the Beatles do show up. And of course, you got to have the Beatles music, because honestly, that's what it's. How can you have an episode with the Beatles without Beatles music? Well, that's exactly what they did. There's no Beatles music in this whatsoever, but it works. It absolutely works. They don't try to make let's do a song that sort of sounds like I Want to Hold Your Hand. No. It is very much set in the real world at Abbey Road Studios, which is still EMI Studios at the time. There are a number of appearances, references to physical objects. People who are Beatles fans will lose their mind over the level of detail that goes into this. Whether it's accurate or not, I cannot tell you. I am not a Beatles expert. I love the Beatles, but I do not know everything about them. There are some people who live and breathe the Beatles who will appreciate it. some of the details that go into it, and why and how you have a Beatles story without Beatles music, because it's, well, one, it's expensive. Yeah, it would be the most expensive Doctor Who episode ever if you put the Beatles music in this thing. But the reason why you don't have the Beatles music, it actually works into the story. There's a reason, story-wise, you do not hear it. And that reason literally changes all of reality. I'm not kidding. And yeah, so it's there's a lot of when you deal with time travel. I mean, if you don't know, that's a time travel thing. Time in relative dimensions in space. The TARDIS, it's bigger on the inside. It's the kind of thing that when you have a time travel type show, you can go anywhere, any place in the universe with these characters, and it's some big scale storytelling on a very small scale, and it's just centered in Abbey Road Studios for the most part, and it makes for some entertaining storytelling with a twist at the end. Of course, there's always a twist at the end. You'll know what I mean if you see it. So the reasons why you might not like this, again, it's got all the things that would make people who can't stand different people different from them, it makes them angry. You might be one of those people. Yeah, well, honestly, it's not for you. It's not for you. But it should be. I think the more opportunity we have to interact with people who are not exactly like us, don't exactly think like us, or look like us, or feel like us, love like us, have the opportunity to learn and discover more and have empathy, which is really, really important. I'm really understating that. But those of you who are Doctor Who fans, I think you have the opportunity to discover some really just amazing things with this new Doctor. He's fun. He's just fun to watch. Ruby's not hard to look at. So the two of them together, there's a certain exuberancy between the two of them, especially when they meet the Space Babies, and especially when Ruby decides, hey, I want to go see the Beatles in 1963 before they're big, when they're recording their first album. It doesn't work out the way she thinks. So again, I highly recommend this series. At any point that you decide to join up, I don't think they have the older previous episodes on here yet, just the newer stuff. This is technically, when I looked at it on IMDb, they treat everything from the 2005 stuff and onward, the 9th through the 13th Doctor, they treat them as 2005 to 2022. This is treated as a new start, 2023, technically 2024, but 2023 because this first episode did premiere in 2023. It says 2024 there, but most of these episodes, by the way, run just under an hour, sometimes a little bit shorter, between 40, 55 minutes long-ish. And the kind of thing is, it's kind of where most people are like, well, if you take out the credits and everything else, or maybe just skip over the theme music, it's shorter. You don't want to ever skip over the theme music. That's just one of the most amazing, just fun things. In any season, it changes from season to season. Just seeing the TARDIS just flipping through time and space and everything else. And that music is so iconic. So I highly recommend just sort of being a kid again, discovering new things. And while the robots or the monsters may look a little funny, they ain't so sophisticated as your other sci-fi stuff maybe, live with the fact that it's okay. It's just fun. It's a storytelling device. And sometimes they really lean into it. So, and that makes it even more fun. They know what the budget they're working with. So, I was going to pick a number, but I already realized I already know what tomorrow's episode is. Because I picked it. Tomorrow's May the 12th. It's Mother's Day. And so Disney has just released something this week, yesterday, really. May the 12th be with you. May the 12th is Mother's Day. And so, May the 12th, in a tradition that they've done with most other holidays, they might end up doing an Arbor Day one at some point. It's The Simpsons, starring Marge Simpson and Maggie. Usually it's a Maggie-centric, no dialogue kind of short. But this, May the 12th be with you, is a Marge Simpson and pretty much all the moms in the Disney universe together on a very short adventure, like 4 minutes long. So tomorrow, May the 12th be with you on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.